So we're going to talk about things that I really, really want to read. And this is just a list of books that I have and that have been sitting on my desk and things that I hopefully will get into soon. But, I figured that I want to update you guys on things that you might see in the future, on things that I'm studying, on ideas that I'm interested in, because it might spur you on to find something similar for yourself or, maybe inspire you to pick up something that's been sitting on your desk. I have so many books that I probably will never read, but it's just a cool thing to finish a book and immediately go, I have 1,000 things that I can read right now, and I'm like a kid in a candy store, and I feel like I'm 3 years old, and there's the giant teddy bear that's no, the giant gummy bear. I don't know why I said teddy bear, but you know exactly what I was trying to say. But the first thing that I want to talk about is actually what I'm reading right now, which is How to Hypnotize Yourself and Others by Dr. Rachel Copeland. This book's really interesting. And the reason I picked up this book was because I heard someone else talking about this book, and they were saying that you're undergoing low levels of hypnosis all throughout the day. I mean, if you just think about it for 2 seconds, it makes complete sense. But the thing he was saying that was really fascinating was basically that when you're watching TV, any sort of graphic that pops up on the screen or any sort of camera angle change or cuts or any sort of stuff that hijacks your fight or flight, and it makes you pay attention at a much more it just keeps your attention at a higher rate than if it was just one straight camera angle. And it was a really interesting idea because if you think about it, if you think of the biological function of it, when you see something you don't know what it is, you have to really, really hone in on it. You have to really, really focus on it. And you see advertisers are using this, to their benefit and to your detriment to, keep you in a trance, to keep you locked into watching the things that, you otherwise wouldn't watch. The ads come on the TV and you go get food or you go to the bathroom, you go take a break, you don't pay attention to ads. So how do they get you to pay attention? It's by doing simple tricks like this. It's by doing a vast study of hypnosis and a vast study of psychological tactics, which really are just kind of hypnosis. Because if you know the roots of psychology, it's hypnosis. Freud was a hypnotist. Jung was a hypnotist. You have various other mystics like Gurdjieff, who was very into hypnosis very, very early on. There's something really interesting in hypnosis, and there's something really there, but it's kind of pushed away because it's seen as more quackery. But what's interesting about this book is it kind of comes off like a self-help book, and kind of shows you like we're all kind of cyclical and we all have these kind of bad habits, and if we could break ourselves out of these bad habits through some sort of hypnosis, then you can kind of put yourself on better habits, put yourself on a better path. And she says there's 3 steps to hypnosis. I'm going to say I'm wrong, but I know what they are. It's relaxation, some sort of relaxation into a trance, and then staying in that trance, and then from there some sort of suggestion. And what is this? It's just meditation. It's just prayer. It's just any other sort of mindfulness exercise you can see as some sort of hypnosis or some sort of trance-like state. But this book is just interesting so far. I haven't read too much of it, so I can't really comment on exactly how much I believe in it, how much I don't. But there's something interesting in this book, and that's what I like to explore. I like to explore interesting ideas from different people and kind of pull them together. But what I'm realizing is that a lot of the self-help books you're going to read, a lot of the psychology or philosophy books you're going to read, they have this underpinning idea of some sort of hypnosis, some sort of taking a belief that you hold and changing it into another belief, doing all these subtle trends and these subtle tricks in order to convince you of something else. But that leads us to the next thing, which is this space trilogy. I really want to finish this space trilogy. I just finished the second book, and I've heard that the third book is the most interesting. I heard that the third book is really, I don't know what to expect. I don't really know what to go off of, but I know the general plot of it, and people have theorized that it's essentially C.S. Lewis inserting Tolkien into a grander conspiracy, and I'm really excited to read it, and I'm really excited to see where it goes. The first 2 books of the space trilogy are really good. The first one is about Dr. Ransom and his escapades into an unknown land and experiencing different civilizations and how people kind of work together instead of driving each other apart, and different theories on life and different theories on how to live. And there's that underpinning of C.S. Lewis's Christianity to it, which makes it really interesting as well, because I don't know, the allegory is very, very overt, but it's not preachy. It's not really annoying. It's just interesting to see him do it, and it's interesting to see him do it on a much more mature scale than from the Chronicles of Narnia. And then the second book is essentially just Paradise Lost. It's essentially just the fall of man and original sin and that sort of idea. So again, it's C.S. Lewis. He's underpinning a great story with philosophy, and I want to finish it off. I want to see where it goes. Next thing I have is Demian. I think that's how you say it, which is by Herman Hesse. I don't know why I was blanking out, but Herman Hesse is somebody that I covered recently. I was talking about Siddhartha on the channel. We did a members only stream on Siddhartha, and this seems to be another similar short book. I don't know what it's about, but I've been told to read this for a very long time. Somebody was suggesting this to me for about a year, I want to say. And I'm just excited to delve into it, to go into it. Herman Hesse is interesting because he kind of seems to be one of those people that picks and chooses what he likes and what he doesn't like, and kind of experiences it all, and kind of is open to things. And I really enjoy that. If you couldn't tell, that's a lot of what I strive to do. I try to experience different things. I try to read different things. I try to look at different perspectives and kind of come to my own from this, and kind of get beyond myself. It's really difficult to do because you justify your own life all day long. I did this, and because I did this, well, I can't do this, or this person hurt my feelings, so it stopped me from doing this. And Blake says something really interesting. It's that the state of hell is self-justification, and that's all hell is. That is all you need to be in hell, is to justify anything about yourself. And we can do this endlessly. And I think there's something so necessary to expanding your perspective. And I think Herman Hesse does a very good job. So I'm excited to read this book. I don't know anything about it, and I'm going to go in blind. And I'm just telling you, I love Siddhartha, and I have a feeling that I'm going to enjoy this as well, because any guy that wrote Siddhartha probably has something else to say. And then the last thing is Dan Brown, The Secret of Secrets. And this is a book that I got for Christmas. I feel like everyone's kind of heard the Da Vinci Code. I never really wanted to read it until recently. Recently I've been doing a lot more research into the Templars and the Gnostics and some of the early sort of esoteric left-hand path, I guess you could say, sort of side of things. I don't know Dan Brown's take on it. I don't know if he thought the Templars were good or bad. Again, there's good and bad with every group. I think you can... if you're not an idiot, you know that there's good people in every single organization. There's just people led astray and that sort of thing. But yeah, I'm interested because the Da Vinci Code obviously has such a high place in our sort of collective ideas. I've heard of it, and I heard of it way before I'd ever really started reading, so I'm excited to go through this. And I looked this book up, and essentially it's about secret societies. And if you know anything about me, I love secret societies. I love how secret societies and intelligence agencies and all these things kind of interweave into our society and create the world in which we live, and create the narratives in which we live under, and the importance and the significance of all of these more esoteric thinkers and all these esoteric ideas onto the underpinning of all of our collective ideas of existence and this world. So yeah, these were just a few books that I hopefully will get to in the near future. I don't know if I will. That's the sad thing with making these videos, is I get really excited about these books, and I promise you all these books that I talked about I will get to at some point. Now, is that going to be, in the next month? Is that going to be the next year? Is that going to be the next few years? Who knows? But I promise you I will read all these books. I promise you I will get to these things, and I will thoroughly enjoy them all. It's just, when I read, I really have to be into it, or it feels like it's a chore. So if I'm interested in a certain kind of fiction, then I'm going to read that fiction. If I'm interested in a certain philosophy, I'm going to read about that philosophy. But give it a month, give it 2 months, and I have no interest in it. It's like nails on a chalkboard to get myself to read. And I don't know if anyone else is that way. I don't know if I'm just weird in that sense, that I'll be very obsessed with it with an idea for a set amount of time, and then I'll just kind of grow bored of it, and then I'll return to it years later with that same strength and that same veracity. But who knows? With that said, I love you guys so much. Thank you guys so much. I'll get back to streaming, I promise. Yeah, this will be out today, so you'll probably see a stream from me later. If you're seeing this later than that, then just know that I'll be back to streaming. I'll be back to doing more things and you know, talking to you guys more. But yeah, with that said, have a good rest of your day. If you don't hear from me, if you don't see me again, and peace out. Love you guys so much. I will